Standing at the tail end of 2025, a thought bubble popped up. It's been exactly 1 year since everyone was panicking about the great AI takeover of our search results and the doom scrolling. The SEO is dead headlines. Well, we are still here. So today, I want to tell you a story, not about what went wrong in marketing this year, but about what we learned, about the challenges that felt impossible in January and the creative solutions that emerged by December. And maybe, just maybe, what we can hope for as we turn the corner into 2026. So grab that drink of yours and let's stroll through the story. Let's start at the top of the funnel. ChatGPT, Perplexity, AIOs, basically AI powered online search, created a visibility crisis for brands and marketers. We used to optimize for clicks. We worked hard to get that blue link traffic. But the zero click world became our brutal reality. Google's AIOs started eating up everything. ChatGPTs and Perplexities of the world did their bit too. In October, McKinsey released their research showing that about half of consumers now use AI powered search engines as their primary research tool. The data is sobering. When AIOs appear on Google, the top organic result loses up to 45% of its traffic. Ahrefs found a similar 35% drop in click through rates for position 1 results when the summaries show up. What the data shows is that more people are searching online, but fewer are clicking the links because AI is answering their questions right there on the results page. And it's not just search. Social media visibility became its own maze in 2025. Insta kept pivoting between formats. First, Reels for everything, then suddenly carousels were back. Hashtags got lower on their algo's priority. TikTok's algo became so sophisticated that it could detect the tiniest shifts in watch time. The algos stopped caring about your follower count. It became all about suggested content, which, let's be honest, was marketing speak for pay to play. Moreover, the organic reach rates on Insta and Facebook dropped, and TikTok saw a major dip in engagement rates at a platform level. Then there was the sloppy AI content that people started to post. The feed became too saturated with low quality AI generated noise, which affected the reach of good and meaningful content. The AI slop era also brought with it the growing number of deepfake content. For B2B marketers, this created a peculiar problem. You're trying to reach decision makers who are using AI to research solutions, and your brand isn't showing up in those AI generated answers. You're not ranking on traditional search, and you are invisible in the new search. On top of that, the AI slop created a kind of double invisibility for them. They were posting on social media, but it barely existed because people were recommended something else, including the sloppy AI content. When you look at email marketing, the visibility crisis had a different look. Following Google and Yahoo, Microsoft rolled out strict new authentication requirements. The message was pretty clear: authenticate your emails properly or don't expect them to reach inboxes. This single move made IT terms like DMARC and SPF marketing priorities. According to some estimates, more than 20% of commercial emails in the US and Canada never reached subscriber inboxes. They didn't even reach the spam folders. They just disappeared into the void. Another report found the global average inbox placement rate was just 83%. That means for every 6 emails you send, one is vanishing. This was not just a technical issue. Internet service providers started using behavioral signals as their primary filter. how many people opened your emails, how many clicked, and more importantly, how many marked you as spam. Complaint rates became the single most important indicator determining whether your emails reached the inbox. What that means is that people have less tolerance for inbox clutter and they are not afraid to hit that spam button. Marketers who had relied on massive email blasts suddenly found their deliverability rates plummeting. The spray and pray approach didn't just stop working, it actively hurt their brand's sender reputation. I'll talk a bit more about the current state of social media marketing. Taking forward from what I shared earlier, I found that even though brands and creators are posting consistently, they are seeing a steep drop in their reach. This year, Insta introduced connected versus unconnected reach. It's an update to the algo that decides whether to show your content to your followers or to strangers. This made the ranking signals very complex. Watch time now matters most for videos. Likes are important for feed posts. And sends have become the golden metric for reaching new audiences. Facebook went back to its roots, prioritizing community first engagement. Posts that sparked conversations in groups performed better than polished brand content. LinkedIn started analyzing not just that people commented, but the quality and sentiment of those comments. TikTok's algo became a bit too intelligent. It could tell if someone watched your video twice. It knew if they watched it to the end or dropped out after 3 seconds. It categorized your content with such precision that being all over the place with your topics actively hurt your reach. The pattern is clear. Algos now reward conversation generating, platform native, and visually engaging content designed for specific audience interests. It seems that there is barely any space for generic content designed for mass appeal. No wonder marketers struggle to keep up with these algo changes which complicated their work. Moving to content creation or generation, AI tools created the paradox by making content creation a lot more simple and hard at the same time. Let me explain. No wonder more marketers across industries adopted AI in their content creation workflows, right from drafting blog posts to generating social media captions to creating video scripts. This includes B2B brands as well. On the other side, AI generated content flooded the internet. As AI got better at generating content that was hyper realistic, people also got better at identifying it. Gradually, they started associating it with lower credibility. One challenge was that the marketers struggled to maintain nuances of their brand voice in AI generated content. AI continued to and still does sound robotic every now and then, and it still hallucinates. The creator economy was also affected due to the rise of AI influencers, primarily because it was not possible to compete with the speed and volume. Thankfully, people valued authenticity and real human perspectives over generated content. So, while AI made it easier to create content, it also made it harder to reach people who care for real human content. Now, when you look at these challenges at the top of the funnel, I think it's safe to assume that bottom of the funnel was not a cakewalk either. There's data out there that indicates conversion rates being in the range of 2.5 to 3%, and nearly half of online carts were being abandoned. This data is across industries but needs to be validated. The core issue was not particularly due to friction in the checkout process. It was more about trust. With AI generated content everywhere, deepfakes becoming more convincing, and data privacy concerns at an all time high, people became more skeptical. They needed more proof before they trust a brand with their money. This led to brands creating a trust stack. They had to layer multiple elements like reviews, UGC style testimonials, trust badges, or security certificates just to seem credible to customers. Social proof became non negotiable. Beyond awareness and conversion, customer retention solidified in the form of building online communities. This particular trend gave a lot of hope to brands and marketers. Take the example of Peloton, the fitness equipment and subscription company. Bringing the hardware and software together, they built a committed community of riders who motivated each other and celebrated each other's milestones. The fitness tracking platform Strava continues to do something similar with activity feeds, kudos, clubs, and challenges designed to create connection and motivation. These are just two examples of fitness brands. Focus on community building grew across product categories, and the social platforms did their bit to enable this too. Insta has had the broadcast channels for a while. TikTok launched bulletin boards feature this year. Reddit has had subreddits forever. LinkedIn and Facebook have had groups, and Blue Sky has customized feeds. Possibly the massive shift in focus on community building was driven by challenges related to the visibility crisis and platform complexities. Brands realized that campaigns generate awareness, but communities generate loyalty. One off ads might win a click, but communities create ecosystems where customers return not just for products but for belonging. But, and this is a big one, building genuine communities is hard. It requires time, resources, and patience. You can't manufacture authenticity or automate belonging. Yes, it is a pretty challenging picture of how the entire marketing landscape shifted during the year. However, it's important to remember that marketers are a creative lot. They adapt and fairly quickly. They did so in seven ways. Since AI powered search became dominant, smart marketers adapted their SEO efforts towards AEO and GEO. They optimized content to appear in AI citations and summaries. This meant creating content that was structured, clear, and authoritative. They adopted natural and conversational language in their blogs. They included TLDR sections up top. They started using summary first sentences to make each section stand alone as a complete thought. They added FAQ schema, how to markup, and article structured data so that it signaled to AI systems that this content was well organized and credible. And since AI engines pull from diverse sources, marketers started focusing on getting their brand mentioned in news articles, trade media, and authoritative third party content. PR became an AI visibility strategy. Similarly, they adapted to deal with email deliverability issues. They kept their email lists clean, implemented double opt in, made unsubscribe buttons easy to find, and segmented their audiences meticulously. Instead of one size fits all campaigns, they sent targeted messages to people who had actually engaged recently. Plus, they monitored complaint rates to keep them well below 0.3%. And finally, they got technical. They implemented SPF, DKIM, and DMARC authentication properly. They warmed up new domains slowly, starting with their most engaged subscribers before expanding volume. The increase in complexities in the platforms taught the marketers to stop cross posting the same content everywhere, which meant creating Insta Reels with trending audio and strong hooks in the first 2 seconds, text heavy conversation starting posts for LinkedIn, and content focused on entertainment value and retention for TikTok. Marketers found a middle ground to deal with AI content paradox as well. They used AI for efficiency but maintained human oversight for authenticity. They used it for research, outline generation, and first drafts. But they utilized the time saved to refine the tone, inject personality, add real examples and stories, and ensure accuracy. Some even created detailed brand voice guides and fed them into their prompts. Others used AI for data analysis and personalization and kept creative storytelling for themselves. More brands started to lean on customer reviews, UGC content, transparency around pricing, etc., to build trust into every customer touchpoint possible. All this hard work to optimize trust systems was done to improve conversion rates. They also continue to adapt content formats according to changes in platform algos. They even shuffled their content structure to communicate visually how to hook attention in the first 2 to 3 seconds and how to deliver value in 15 to 60 seconds. Some companies invested in in house video production teams, and many doubled down on influencer marketing. There has been a huge focus around building online communities this year. Those who saw success were the brands that considered it as part of their core marketing strategy, not just a tactic. They measured success not just by engagement metrics, but by retention rates, referral rates, and customer lifetime value. Looking at how 2025 changed how we market to customers, it was nothing short of a roller coaster ride. And that's where the adrenaline rush lies. And now, where do we go from here? What do I hope happens as we move into 2026? I hope that we get a better handle at the visibility crisis that AI has created. We should see more sophisticated tools that help marketers understand where their brand appears in AI powered search results. Right now, only 16% of brands systematically track AI search performance. That number needs to be closer to 100%. SEMrush and other tools are offering relevant analytics. But there is a need for better analytics that show not just how much traffic comes from AI referrals, but how that traffic behaves and converts. To address the trust deficit that got created, we should see a wider adoption of content authentication standards. Most platforms comply with C2PA norms, but adoption needs to accelerate. In a world where anyone can generate convincing content at scale, being able to prove authenticity is need of the hour. Transparency about what platform algos prioritize could ease out the complexities that have emerged. Look, I know that no platform is going to open source their algos. Still, Adam Mosseri's relative openness about how their systems work, or Jack Dorsey's approach of making the entire BitChat source code available on GitHub for community feedback is always welcome. On the content strategy side, I truly hope that AI tools evolve from content generators to creativity enhancers. In the new year, I hope that AI helps you understand your audience better, identifies gaps in your content strategy, and suggests fresh angles on topics but doesn't try to write in your voice. It should act as a research assistant and strategist, not a content factory. In terms of content creation, I find the UI to be limiting factor. The options that we have available swing between a FTP client kind of a tree structure or clean but dense Adobe product style UI. You know what I mean? It's not intuitive yet. It seems as if the function parameters of the AI code behind the UI has been given the shape of a checkbox, radio button, or a text box. Currently, you can categorize these tools into two broad categories: requiring a steep learning curve for high quality, consistent content, or intuitive apps that offer limited quality output. Looking at the online communities, they're currently sitting natively on social media platforms only. That's the core idea of a social platform. But when you are a marketer running multi channel campaigns, having an integrated view of distributed communities is missing. There is a need for an infrastructure which enables that. Other than the community infrastructure, I am pretty excited about niche communities growing next year. This would address some of the trust issues that people, brands, and creators face, and there is a more personalized interaction between them. And finally, I do hope that culture becomes the key driver behind communities and the digital landscape in general. As a marketer, I know that culture is the common ground between a brand and customer. Platforms need to become an enabler and promoter of culture, not influencer or controller. I think AT protocol or mesh networks might do that. Moreover, business leaders need to develop the mindset of allowing such communities to grow. Look at them as an investment rather than an expense. In a world where authenticity has become a growth driver, it is important to remember that it can't be manufactured or automated. All in all, 2025 was a year that brought clarity to us. We learned that visibility isn't guaranteed just because you publish content, that authenticity can't be automated. Algos now reward meaningful engagement over vanity metrics. Trust is harder to earn and easier to lose than ever before. And real communities built on shared values and genuine connection might be the most valuable asset a brand can build. See, technology, platforms, algos, user preferences, and culture, everything changes and evolves. But the need for that human connection will remain. So I'm optimistic about stepping into 2026. This optimism roots from the fact that marketers are inherently creative and resilient. They will find a way through what comes their way. They just need to be cognizant of customers' preferences and privacy needs. 2025 revealed to the marketers that technology can scale content and reach, but only humans can scale trust, meaning, and belonging. Thanks for listening. Drop your thoughts on what you look forward to in 2026. Make sure you follow the podcast and share this episode. Until next time, stay curious, stay adaptable, and remember in a world of algos and AI, your humanity is your superpower.